welcome to Networking Acronyms. Now let's do a quick review because the acronyms that you learned in A+ are absolutely relevant here. Now I'm not going to review every acronym because there's a video for that, but let's talk about the ones that are most likely going to pop up in your exam and be relevant when you are in a networking position. So let's do a quick review. I'm going to name the acronym and you are going to name the port number. Use this as test practice. Let's start. FTP. What number is it? SSH, DNS, HTTP, HTTPS, SNMP. Do you remember what that stands for? Simple Network Management Protocol. What's the port number? How about DHCP? Awesome. Those are just a couple of the port numbers that we looked at during the A+ port number review, and they're important. Let's do a little bit of a deep dive on one of the port numbers that we did mention in the A+ video, and that is 389. It's for LDAP. But what the heck is LDAP? The Lightweight Directory Access Protocol is the set of rules that directory services use for authentication. It literally provides the language of an application that is going to be able to communicate to other directory service servers. So stuff like usernames, passwords, different accounts, and it's pretty much the language that applications use to authenticate a user or device. That's port 389, which we touched on in the A+, but let's introduce a new one. How about port 636? Well, that's LDAP over SSL TLS. We call it LDAP-S, so LDAPS, and it allows for the encryption of LDAP data, and that includes users' credentials. So when you're transferring the data in a session, you want to make sure that you're protecting it against credential theft, and that's what LDAP-S, or port 636, allows us to do. Another new one that we did not cover in A+ is TFTP, and that's port 69, the Trivial File Transport Protocol. It's really simple and it's a lot like FTP except for we're using UDP. Now, if UDP is new to you, stick around. We're going to talk about it in this video. All right, another new port that you should be familiar with is 3389. Now, don't confuse this with LDAP, which is 389, but 3389 is RDP. What is RDP? The Remote Desktop Protocol, one that you are going to see used incredibly often in Network+. So don't put this in memory and then dump it out just for your exam. You want to keep this one in memory because it's crucial in the working environment. Another new one that we're introducing for Net+ is port number 123, kind of like you're counting, right? Well, NTP, or Network Time Protocol, is port number 123. Here are 3 more acronyms that you should absolutely familiarize yourself that are related to all of these port numbers. And those 3 are ICMP, aka ping, which is a really great and simple tool for network connectivity diagnostics. Like, yo, are you actually online? Let me ping you and see. And it's going to let me know what the response time is. So it's a simple tool, but it's a powerful and effective tool just to see what devices or users are actually online and operational. Now, 2 incredibly critical acronyms for you to know and understand are UDP and TCP. Now, you heard me touch on UDP when we talked about Trivial File Transport Protocol just a moment ago. UDP is User Datagram Protocol. It's what we refer to as connectionless oriented, meaning, let's look at an example. Have you ever had a delivery person throw a box onto your front doorstep and then continue on? They don't necessarily make sure that it was placed there nicely, and they don't really make sure it's the right doorstep, and they don't ring your doorbell or knock so that you don't come out and know that it's there. Well, they just threw it and they went, which is great for their performance speed, but not necessarily the safest. But we do use UDP pretty often, like when we have VoIP calls or video chats, or we're watching or streaming live TV. It's a lot better to get the quickness, the performance of that information, instead of getting stuck on making sure that every single frame makes it to us. Now, TCP is kind of the opposite. connection-oriented. That's when the FedEx driver knocks on your door, rings your doorbell, waits for you to come out, and then requires a signature before you can get your box. That's because we want to ensure that you, the recipient, receive the data without any possibility of losing any of it. I gave you the whole box and nothing but the box. Now it's a lot slower, but it's also so much more secure. And you can think about this in data as well. If I sent over 10 pictures to you and they needed to be in a specific order and I needed to make sure you got all of them, then I'm going to use TCP. But if I'm sending 10 pictures and I don't really care if they all make it to you and it's okay if one of them's blurry and they come out of order, it was probably a lot quicker to take the 10 and just throw them instead of handing them to you one by one by one. That's the difference between UDP and TCP, User Datagram Protocol, and Transmission Control Protocol. Know it, love it, breathe it. These are essential acronyms for your Net Plus. All right, study hard. You've got a couple new port numbers to look at here. Definitely a few from A+ that you need to refresh yourself on, and you'll be good to go for the test as far as port numbers are concerned.